I'm collecting every English Lucario card. Let's see where we're at so far. All right, that was a pretty cool stop motion, right? Big thank you to Pokey Stop Motion on Instagram for the inspiration behind that. I don't know how that man does it because I swear I spent three whole days editing and filming that. So I mean the fact that he's able to put one out at least 2 or 3 times a week is absolutely insane to me. So a big shout out to him. But in this being my first long form real video, I did kind of want to get into and actually go over what's in my binder here. So, as shown in that stop motion, I'm trying to collect every single English Lucario card. That includes all the different promos, really, like I said, everything. Promos, cameos, base cards, cool rare cards, everything. So once I'm done with that, there's a chance that I might dive into some of the more, because there are some exclusive Japanese ones that I might go into, but I know one of those is a poncho, and I don't really quite think I want to spend that much money on a poncho, but we'll see. Maybe I'll pull something that I can end up trading for it or something like that. But let's dive right into the binder here and kind of I'll show you what's going on. So first off, on this first page, I've got this beautiful art that I worked up where I took the start screen from Pokemon Diamond and changed out the silhouette here to a Lucario. Right now I have this coin in there just because I have it and I figured it went with the theme, so I might as well throw it in there. Um, if you're wondering, I watched this great tutorial on how to do all these binder arts that you'll see throughout this, so if you ask for it in the comments, I'll definitely shoot you the link. It's really nothing too complicated, so anyone can do it. Then moving on to back of that, I mean, I just threw in some energy cards and figured I was like, oh, I'll throw the fighting energy there because that makes sense to me. But then on page 2 here, this was actually the first Lucario card that I got. So story behind that, I was going to my first card show, and this was maybe in the middle of February. I had never been to one. I didn't really have any specific goal in mind, so I was like, you know what, let's find a Pokemon that I like to master set and try and do something like that, because I'm not too into master setting an entire like set, like Ascended or Phantasmal or something like that. I'm more into I want one specific Pokemon to go after, and I think that would be like a cool thing to do. So either way, walked in first table that I was at, I saw this card for $8, and I was like, I can't resist that. That card's really cool. And then after doing some research into the binder stuff, I was like, well, let's make a kind of expanded artwork to it. So I took the artwork that was on the card and decided to kind of expand it out among the whole binder page, which is a recurring theme you'll see a couple times here in this binder. And I mean, I think that it looks awesome. So definitely a top page in my book. So, and then moving on to page 2 here, I'll move this over so it's a little easier to see. So this is kind of the old stuff page. So for the most part, I've got this black and white promo up here. It's difficult to see on the camera right now, but it's BW85. This promo is very difficult to find and just makes like I'm gonna struggle to find it in English, but that's kind of the whole point of this. So we'll see kind of what happens, and maybe I'll come across it randomly sometime. And moving down into here, I mean, I've got some of the old Diamond Pearl stuff, which I think it was one of the first appearances of him, so I thought that that was a really cool one to put on that same page. And obviously all three variants of that. And on this page actually is our first card that we're going to add in today, because I do have a little stack of them here that's ready to go, and I've been waiting until I could get this video going in order to put them in there. So we've got the Sun and Moon pre-release promo for Ultra Prism that I picked up on eBay for a pretty good price, so throw that in there, and that looks pretty good in its spot. So then working down the line here, I've got this level X down here. Really good story behind this one. So at that first card show where I picked up the first card on the back page, I actually also picked up this Burger King Diamond and Pearl promo here. And I had told the vendor, I was like, oh, I'm looking for Lucario, so if I see you at another show, if you have them, I'll get them from you. And then a couple weeks, no, it was the next week, I saw that same vendor at that show, and he gifted me this Lucario Level X, which is crazy. I didn't expect that at all. And if you want to give them a big shout out, it's Scale and Flame Trading Co. on Instagram. I know they're opening a card shop near me soon, so any support that anyone could give them would definitely be appreciated. But um, yeah, so that big thank you to them. And I mean, this is a huge card to get just right off the bat when I started this. So um, but moving on over here, so a lot of these, I'm not going to go too in depth on them because a lot of them I did just order from TCG Player, or I found at local shows and traded away some hits from my short series in order to procure them. But it was, I mean, that's what a lot of this next page is. So I mean, there were a couple here that were trades, so like this trade, but then everything else here was purchased through either TCG Player or whatnot. This top Furious Fists full art was a great whatnot purchase. I got this card at a steal as far as I'm concerned. It looks amazing, and the card itself is for sure near mint, and got it for way under what the market should have been on that. But diving further in here onto our next page that actually has some actual like Michi style art going on with it. So on this one, I've got this Lucario kind of jumping off of this pillar. So I kind of took that theme and extended it into the cards, where in this top row from Legendary Treasures, he's kind of jumping in the air, and then in the middle one he's landing, and then you got this kind of like cool summoning aura type thing from Unleashed, where he's doing whatever he's doing there. But so I thought that was kind of like a cool way to incorporate this jumping thing. But we've also got two cards on this page that we can add in. Anything with an O throughout the binder, anything with an O is stuff that I have on order. And that's so if I go to shows, I don't end up buying the same thing twice, because that has happened to me at least once. So actually, I guess I don't have the Unleashed one down here in the bottom, but I do have this this Cosmo Hollow here to add in. So let's throw that in there. So we'll let that tie up that page and move on to the next one. So next page over here is all about Lucario with people. I know there's other cards that would probably fit in this top left slot better, but for right now, that's the one that's going there just because it doesn't fit in a lot of places. It's a weird art style that I just can't find a good spot for. So for right now, that's where it's living. Eventually, I'll probably find some other team card that'll go here, but for right now, I've got all of the Melmetals except for the secret rare. This one's actually kind of my next hunt. It's not terribly expensive, so I'll be kind of searching for that at shows and everything like that. But got some more custom art in here about, like him at a gym with other people or other Pokemon, and then I got made one up here of him and Melmetal fighting like a tag team battle type thing. So lots of kind of team up type stuff going on there. And then moving on to our next page. This one, well, honestly, the inspiration behind this is just that there were simply three of each of these cards, so it made it really easy. So these were all from Brilliant Stars, and then these were all from SV Base, and then these bottom ones were all from Vivid or Fates Collide. So it made it pretty easy just to throw them all in there. And on this page here, we actually do have those bottom two to toss in there now. And believe it or not, this will actually be my first fully complete page. So let's get those thrown in. So first off, we've got the Cosmo Hollow promo. Toss that right in there. And I know you won't be able to see this on camera. I can barely see it in person, but there is a beautiful swirl right there that it looks like he's looking at. I don't know if the seller just didn't notice that or not, but I'm still new to some of this, so I know that sometimes the swirls can mean that people will pay more for a swirl in an ideal spot, and I know that's in an ideal spot as far as I'm concerned. And then we've got the reverse hollow from Fates Collide to throw into the next one. So let's throw that right in there. And then, boom, we have our first full page. That feels awesome. That looks great. Happy to have that filled out. Moving on to the next page. This page, the top half is kind of like combat moves. I've got the DP, whatever it is, Lucario and Manaphy, Poet Lucario there. Then that middle one is actually a promo from Steam Siege. That blister pack currently, or that's just a single blister, sells for like $70 market right now, which is crazy. And then this other one, which is just another promo from Sun and Moon. So lots of promos with Lucario, I'm learning. It's like almost a good chunk of his cards are all promos, which I find pretty interesting. But then the bottom half here is all about these like mega attack. I'm going to call them mega attack rares because that's what they are in Ascended Heroes now. But lots of mega attack rare kind of Lucarios. So as part of that, I put the new promo in there from the Mega or Ascended Heroes poster collection of him, which I did happen to procure. So we're going to go ahead and slide that right in here, and that will look fantastic in its new home. I had debated putting this on another page, but because of the lettering, I couldn't not throw it here. So far we've got that one, and then we've got the two down here from Furious Fists, which I think that these types of cards look fantastic, and I'm going to be hunting for this secret coming up soon. I've seen it online for some pretty good prices, but have restrained myself from really going too crazy so far. And then let's move on to our next section. So I'm going to go over that one specifically shortly, but next page here, I've come to learn that all of these reverse hollows for these older sets are rather expensive for just being considered kind of like bulk cards. So, we've got Plasma Storm, and then Legends Awakened, and then honestly, I'm not sure what this one is. I honestly I could not tell you. Since I don't have the placeholder here, I can't I can't really see what these bottom two are, but I just know that they're older and they were kind of interesting when I had to pick them up. But so far we're missing, like I said, the reverse hollows and then this Pop Series 6 Lucario there, and then I've got some more Michi Method, just more kind of Lucario vibing on a tree. So I just thought. I like all this artwork. I think it's fantastic. But I want to move on to what's my favorite page, which would be this one. So I designed a lot of this binder around this card because I think that this card is awesome. and it deserves more love. So it's it's not bad. It's not doing bad, but I think it's sitting right now around 150 something dollars. So, but I do think that it should be worth more because it's one of the cooler Lucario cards, especially with this all this graphic going on around the fist there. I just think that it's super cool. But I wanted to really take this card and do one of those expanded artworks with it. So I came up with this where it basically just continues the cityscape and you've got some, Charizards and a Latias and some other Pokemon just kind of flying around in the sky, and then the buildings going on down here. I mean, you got a Tyranitar going on, and I just thought that it looked really cool. And then with, I designed this art and then put the placeholder in here, and then I was like, I need this card right now. I think that this card is too good to just not have at this moment. So I went out immediately and just bought it because I was like, this card just needs to be in my collection. But moving on from there, I've got just the full art from the base set Mega down here, and then this Riolu from SV base. Those are it's the color scheme on this page just kind of shouts blue, and these were the those two, and then this Airy from Temporal Forces, which I still need to get. That one's I've just been waiting to find it at a show, honestly. They're all like this card's $13, and none of them are too crazy. The Riolu's actually gone up a bit recently, where now it's I think sitting around 30, something like that. I think I got it for 20, so um, in all, I'm doing pretty good on value wise, but these cards all fit the kind of like blue color wave that's going on here, so I wanted to keep that consistent. But moving on, next we've got our we're moving into kind of the not so themed section where I don't have a lot for them that's like themed super well, so it's just kind of there. But um, the on this one, I knew I wanted to get the Cynthia Lucarios in here just because it's kind of centered around Cynthia. And then on this right side, I've got all the shinies, and Cynthia, of course, has a shiny, so it kind of intersects perfectly. And then otherwise, it was just finding what fits in there. So I've got the Fates Collide Lucarios up here, which I do actually have the reverse to throw in the binder here. So let's toss that right in. And then we've got the two. I think these ones are from Burning Shadows, so the bottom two here. So good there. I know these Lucario C's seem to be extremely expensive, so I'm holding off on those for the time being, just on the off chance that I find them at a show and someone has them labeled as like bulk or something like that. That would be kind of my ideal scenario. But nothing too crazy there. And then, as you saw in the stop motion at the beginning here, is that this little aura sphere art that I've got going on. This is all another one of my favorite ones. I just love how that turned out, especially when I did it with the stop motion where it kind of shoots out. I thought that looked really cool. But this one actually caught me by surprise because there's this Call of Legends set here, which has 4 different variants of the same card. So I've got to get the hollow, the reverse hollow, the non-hollow, and the cracked ice hollow to complete that one. And then we've got Plasma Storm here, which if you recall that BW85 promo from the beginning, that's really expensive. That one actually comes from a 3-pack blister of Plasma Storm. So I would love to find that 3-pack blister if I could, just to have that promo, but either way, I should be able to get both of the cards from it without needing to purchase the actual promo. And then we move into our next page that we should be completing today. A lot of this next one here, and obviously this one before, these are pretty much just cards that match together and fill space. So we've got the Ultra Prism Lucarios, the Vivid Voltage Lucarios. Again, not sure what this one is, just because these were with set icons and I wasn't too into it then. And then I've got some Heart Gold, Soul Silver Lucario GLs here that I think are really nice. These ones I happened to find for a good deal, and I was like, I can't say no to them. And then the same thing with this Pop Series 8-1 down here. I just thought that I was like, I see them, I get them, kind of thing. And then we actually have this Ultra Prism 67 Lucario. We're reverse hollow here. So let's throw that in here. And then we are completing 2 pages in the binder. So that's already a fantastic day. And then, moving on to the page after that, we have our... This is kind of like, I was going for like the EXs, and then in the middle, this Pokemon Rumble one, which that one I'm hoping to just find in like a bulk bin somewhere, because if I don't put it in a bulk bin, it's really expensive. But to finish up this page, we've got the promo from the Lucario figure collection to go in here. And I put that there because I don't want these two next to each other because they're the exact same card, but one's from Mega and one's from Ascended. So wanted to try and keep those separate as much as I could. But then the kind of thought process here was that every single EX card of him seems to just be kind of like punching. So I was like, oh, well, let's throw Rumble in the middle, and then I've got, all these ones kind of punching into it, which I thought was pretty cool. But take a step back real quick because I forgot to throw a card in here. I actually purchased the Call of Legends non-hollow to go into this slot, and I forgot to mark it with an O, so my brain forgot. And there we are. Now we have one card on this page aside from the Plasma Storm one. And then let's skip on forward here. So next page over here, this one's blank because I know that there's some that I missed, like specifically from it wasn't Legendary Treasures. Which one was it? It was Fates Collide. I know that specific Lucario was tournament cards and pre-release cards. There were so many different versions of that card, so I wanted to leave space to put them in. And then we come over here where I have more space left, and then this gold Mega Lucario EX because I like this card. I think it looks awesome, but the color doesn't fit with anything else. It's just really strange. So I'm hoping that I can find ones that are all gold in here. So or like orange or something that matches kind of thing. And then we've got the 2 cameo cards down here. So this is a Passimian from something, and there's a little Lucario in that bottom left there. So I've got to include it. And then same thing up here. I could not tell you what set those are from, but I know that they're there. Actually, maybe I can tell you. They're from Unified Minds, so they're not too old. And then we move into our actual like item card cameos. So we've got the Poke Drawer Plus up here from Stormfront, and these are all old, so they're all kind of strange to find out in the wild. But Poke Drawer Plus from Stormfront, and then the Lucario Spirit Link, which was a promo, and I can hold this up to see it a little bit better. Spirit Link, which was a promo, and then we got the 3 switches down here, all from different sets, but they're the same art, but they're from different sets, so I wanted to make sure that they were included. And the reverse hollows for each one of those. So moving in here, we can slide in our Poke Drawers because I do have both of those. So let's throw those right on in. And then boom, we are one step closer, or two steps closer. Throughout this video, I've put in, I think, 11 cards, so we're 11 steps closer technically to finishing this whole collection. But yeah, so far that's where I'm at. If you want to see some of this other stuff going on in here, I mean, I know I really like this Eevee promo, so I threw it in. But this is now in my wife's section of the binder, so I had to do a continuing art for this for her. But yeah, I think this all looks fantastic, so I'm going to keep pushing at it, and you'll get kind of sporadic updates from me. But for now, thank you for watching this video if you did, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and let me know if you want to trade for some Lucarios. I'm always game for it, but hope to see you around.